Okay, in this video I want to talk a little bit about a really handy tool to have in your toolbox called a speed square. This thing is invaluable on the job site or as a homeowner, or if you just want to do some projects. Most common thing you would use this for is you have a board and you want to make a square cut. You line up what's called the lip onto the board and draw your line, and you have your square cut right there. Flip it. You need a 45-degree angle. That would be this right here. Hold it on the edge again, mark it, and there's your 45-degree angle. Also, if you just need to make a square cut and you're not measuring your distance or anything, and you just need a quick square cut, you can hold your square on a board, and this is thick enough. The square is thick enough where you can just put your circular saw against it, and it'll be a nice guide for you to cut that square edge off of the board. You can also use your square to find angles using your pivot point, and say you want to find this angle. We know it's a 45, but if you hold the pivot point on the edge here, move your square right to that line, hold it right there, you can see right here that it's a 45-degree angle. So say you want to find an angle that isn't a 45, I'll just take this board here, mark this, and let's see if we can get closer here. Hold your pivot point right here, line it up with that line. You look at the numbers here on the same side as the pivot point going along this edge. You can see that that's about a 15, 16, 17, 18, about an 18.5 degree angle. Another cool thing you can do with this square is say you want, see this board is 3 inches right now. Say you want to rip this board and you don't have a table saw, but you want to make a mark for circular saw. You can hold the lip on the edge, take your pencil and mark this at 2 inches and just drag the square. And then you'll have a line all the way down the board where you can rip this at 2 inches or whatever you want. Right here you have the words common top cut, and that's referring to these numbers here. And what these are pitches of common rafters. What a pitch is the rise and run of a rafter. So the rise would be a measurement from the bottom up, and the run would be a horizontal distance. Vertical is the rise, the run is horizontal. So what this means is if you have a 12 pitch roof, you would line this up. That's a 45-degree angle. That's a 12 pitch, which means for every 12 inches the roof goes in, the roof goes up 12 inches, and that's your 45-degree angle. This section here that says hip valve top cut, this gets a little intense when you start talking about it. You can go 1,000 different ways with this. Generally, you're not going to be needing to use this if you're a contractor. You probably know how to use this. But for the homeowner or somebody who's just doing projects, really, if you need to, patch a rafter, say a trim board's falling off outside, you want to make a scab to put in there so you can reattach the trim board. You can mark your rafter pitch with this right here. I wouldn't worry about this too much. Another handy thing, say you're on the floor building a wall and your level's on the other side of the room, but this is in your tool belt. you can get, say this is your bottom plate, and you want to put a stud in here, and you want to get it about level before you nail it. You can throw this on your line, and you know that this is level. If you know your bottom plate is level, you can line up your square and kind of square this up, and that's going to be about level, so you can nail the bottom and then get your level up the top and nail the top. If you don't have a square and you're thinking about buying one, I would recommend either getting aluminum or steel as opposed to plastic, because sometimes it's helpful to just be able to put this down. Say you're cutting a piece of metal for some trim, you put your square down, score it with a knife, and break the metal or bend it. If you do that multiple times over with a plastic square, it's going to get marked up, chewed up, and it's going to cause issues for you. I'm a big fan of, if the tool works, it's the right tool. Some people will probably yell at me for doing this, but sometimes if you need to pry something, you can just take your steel or aluminum square and pry over a bottom plate or something like that. Obviously don't go crazy with it, because you'll end up bending it and then it will be useless. But it's just an all-around handy tool to have in your tool belt or your toolbox. Hopefully this helped you out. If you have any questions, I probably will make a video about the hip rafters and valley rafter measurements here. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully this helped you out, and have a good day.